Good morning, everyone. This is OSensei Joe from American Jiu-Jitsu Centers. Also with my partners, Shion, Kathy, and Billy. They are assisting me today with this videotape. This is second degree black belt, NIDAN, videotape 8. Okay, today we'll be working on the conclusion of the second degree, and we'll be covering the more advanced gun techniques. All of these tapes are video posted on our Facebook group page every day at American Jiu-Jitsu LI. There is a 1-minute clip on Instagram, which leads you to the Facebook group page. Also, they are posted on YouTube, American Jiu-Jitsu LI, and that will contain the full library. All right, please, when you go to YouTube, make sure you share and like it. We're looking to build up our subscribers. Every day we do virtuals training. The training is done at 8. To get the codes to do the training, go to ajjcenters.com, and there are classes 7 days a week. You will need a password to get into the Zoom meetings. Either reach out to another one of the students who already would have that, or you could email me at ajjli@gmail.com, and I will give you the password to get into those Zoom meetings. Again, that's American Jiu-Jitsu LI@gmail, and I will give you the password for the Zoom meetings. So we covered our entire belt system in the sense of from white to black. Now we're doing second degree. It's taken 8 videos to make second degree, and the next video that you'll see will be actually going into our third degree. These videotapes are not necessarily for 100% training. We're not articulating certain things. We're giving you an overview to keep you busy during these different times. We're giving you an insight of the way our system is built and the way our system is worked. Hopefully you're watching these videos to keep your mind sharp. You know, I always say to people, and I've used this statement many times, that if you lay in bed for a week, you'll forget how to walk. We've been out of the dojo business since March 15th, and you need to keep your mind sharp. The world is a place where, you know, anything could happen right now, and you want to keep your skill levels sharp. And the way you do that for now is you attend our virtual training on Zoom, which you can do every day, or you use one of these videotapes to assist you in your training. We can make excuses, or we can get reasons to get busy. I think in today's day and time and climate, you got to stay busy, you got to stay sharp, and you got to still work on that mind. All right, and these tapes definitely will help you. So the video you're about to see is on gun techniques. Now, we did some gun techniques on the black belt category, the first degree black belt, and what we did with that was we showed you the common denominator, how to disarm the weapon and strike to the person and create that distancing. And those techniques are wonderful. These techniques that get into more of the jiu-jitsu submission would be incorporated for a specific reason. The first technique is when a person holds you in more of what they call a weaver or traditional stance, where they're holding the gun with 2 hands and they're resisting you, and we're going to use that resistance to our advantage. The second technique is very similar to one of the techniques we taught at black belt level. We're going to use, instead of taking the gun away, we're going to manipulate the person down to the ground with a wrist manipulation, and then we're going to create that distance away from that person. But the reason why I might use a technique like this is, number one, if I wanted to cuff the person from a law enforcement standpoint, or if I was in like a cockpit area where I didn't have the ability to create the distance that we do teach you at that first degree level. The third technique is going to teach you how to get behind the person if there was a second attacker, and again, to create distance. The next attack is going to talk to you about if the person puts it over the heart and how we don't want to cross the body. I'll get into more specifics with that when we get closer. Next technique will be a rear attack, where the person's coming us from the back, where they don't want us to see their face. And the final attack is a little different, because now it's you holding a weapon. Maybe you work in some capacity of law enforcement, called the G-Rap, that was developed by a gentleman by Guller, and that we kind of utilized this technique because we felt it was a great addition to our American Jiu-Jitsu system. So I will go into detail as we go to each one of the techniques, but that's what this video is going to oversee today. All right, so the first technique is the person is holding the gun in more of a traditional or standard type of way, and they're locking those arms out. They're not pulling that gun back. So this is a gun held center of the body, locking the arms out into what we refer to as a wakikatami. Again, Shion, Kathy, and Bill. Go.
Please don't shoot me.
Boom, he snaps that arm. Now he clears the person by hitting that elbow strike, taps the bottom of the weapon, and then from here gets into his stance. There's a procedure that we do throughout the whole time, and you'll see it a lot. where we're taking another person's gun away. We have no idea the integrity of that weapon. So the reason when we take the gun away, we tap the bottom, is because in the transition of all of these techniques, when it's their gun, the magazine could be compromised. And once that's out of alignment, the gun's not going to shoot. So we tap the bottom of the weapon. We have no idea if there's one in the chamber or not. Some people carry one in the chamber, some people don't. Also, the gun might go out of alignment, so we rechamber the weapon to clear that weapon. And then what we do is we continue to step back. We step back in certain cases with our hand up, so we're ready to take a charge if the person came at us. Because remember, when we take that weapon, we don't know if it's a good weapon, a live weapon, a non-loaded weapon. So if that person charges us, they know what this weapon's all about. So we're ready to do that elbow strike. And then as we get about 6 feet away to 8 feet away, then we go into our forward stance, more traditional hold, and hold that person at bay. So there's a lot of technicalities that we don't go into on the video, but I figured I'd give you a little bit more because this will be a little bit of a shorter video, so you understand where we're coming from. So let's look at that technique again. So as he makes his move, takes the barrel away, bang, from here. Elbow strikes to clear himself from her, taps the bottom, racks the weapon from here. If it was close, he had to, and goes into that forward stance. Sometimes you'll see he might not do this because he's cleared away and cleared the person this way, but a lot of us make that almost a reflex, so it's a technique that's a lot of times in the technique because it's just a reflex that we develop. The next technique is if the person went to pull the gun back. Now this is very similar to what we did at first degree black belt. Now just to review that for 1 second, do the first degree black belt with the spear hand. Okay, so notice that first degree black belt, we do the same common denominator, strike, take the gun away, hit, tap the bottom, rack the weapon here. So that's what we showed you on that first degree level. Now we're saying we're in a close quarters. He might not have the room to get back that far. Might be a cockpit scenario, or he might want to put the person down into a submission to cuff the person. So we're going to do the same technique, but now we're going to turn that final thing, instead of taking the gun away, with a technique called the kotegiyeshi, which you learned around blue belt. All right, so let's look at that technique. From here, takes it away, same way, boom, drives it. There's your kotegiyeshi. There's your gooseneck pin. He's going to take that gun away, tap it, rack it, and hold that person at bay. Okay? That's your next technique. The next technique he finds as he takes it, there's a person coming from over there. So he wants to go 180 degrees behind this person so he can get away from a second attacker. This is into what they call a muchi, which he can break the wrist as he goes passing by and then create that distance and hold this person at bay with this gun. So the person's holding the gun, pulls it back to her right shoulder, boom, comes here, rips that wrist right off, taps the bottom of the weapon, racks the weapon from here, and holds at bay. Let's look at that one more time. All right, he's taking that into a muchi. Other side, from here. So he takes the gun away, she pulls the gun back from here, and here, rips it, beautiful, taps it, racks it, and here. So just to be clear on those two techniques, one, the person pulled the gun back here, and that's where he did the koto. Two, the technique pulls the gun back, and that's where he did that muchi. Action, reaction. People say, well, what do you got all these different techniques out? We have no idea how a person's going to react. They can lock out, they can pull, when you train for everything. When you're a mechanic, you have a toolbox with many different tools. If you go with one screwdriver and it's a pan head, you're going to need a Phillips head. Murphy's Law will tell you that. All right, so over the 51 years of me developing this system and training in these martial arts that I have, I created what you're seeing today because of the what if. A person would say, okay, Sensei, that's great, but what if? And that's how we built the system. And also with all the law enforcement agencies that we've taught, the questions that came back to us, and we developed these answers. So now the person is going to hold the gun over the heart. Now you're going to see a little bit of a different direction. Let me explain before they do it. So as the person holds the gun over the heart, the problem here, if Shihan Billy did the same rule that we were doing and came this way, look at all the body part he covers. Remember, the main thing with the gun is to get out of the alignment of the projectile. So even though he has to deal with the free hand here, as he goes to the left side, he smells his armpit, so if she tried to come at him, he's covered. As he does this, he's going to take out her lower part of the body with a kick to the limb. He's going to come around, take that gun away, rip, tap the bottom of the weapon, chamber the weapon, and here. Okay? So this particular technique, he's going to move the gun, but he's very aware of that free hand. There are some arts that base all of their techniques that way because it seems like it's the better way to go, which is fine. You can use this how you see fit, but within American Jiu-Jitsu, we see it used this way. All right, so watch that one more time. He smells his armpit from here, takes out her base from here, comes around, rips the weapon out. Notice how he takes the weapon right to his hip, not to his belly. That would shoot himself in the belly. Takes it right to the, taps the bottom of the weapon, making sure the integrity is good, realigns the weapon, and then from here, holds and holds, okay? Next technique, to the back high. Now this technique means the attacker does not want you to see his face, okay? I have actually utilized a technique like this many years ago. The technique works amazing because you gotta remember that when a person holds a gun to your back, it's checkmate in their mind. They think they got you. But really what it is they don't want you to see their face. They're actually more of a planned person than the person who brings the gun right to the front of your body, all right? So in this case, it's always about controlling the weapon. With a knife, we can't grab the weapon, but a gun, we can. So what Shion Billy is gonna do is he's gonna turn, control the weapon, he's gonna strike, but he has control of that weapon, and then from there, he's gonna finish off with his finish-off technique to take this person out, okay? With a wakigatami. So, as he makes his move, he turns from here, secures the weapon from here, bang. Let's do the punch there. As you after this thing, through the strike, run right into the waki. All right, so he's gonna turn, grab the weapon, turn, secure the weapon, strike, and now go into waki. Now, when you see the person going directly into waki, you can do that, but I want to show you all the steps along the way if the possibility is there. As you develop more speed, you can go right into the technique. We're going to break that down one more time so you get a chance to see him grab the weapon, do the wakigatami, and then lock the person up. So from here, he turns, he grabs the weapon, strikes, and comes over the top and takes that person out, okay? Hits, taps, chambers, and here. Also, you must understand that when doing a rear attack, that, again, these are things that are taught in more basic levels. Let's go back one more time. He's gonna glance over. Notice how he glanced over. So he knows the gun is in the left hand, the right hand. The person could put the gun in the left hand and hold like this. So if he didn't check, now from here, if he went the wrong, let's say he went the way he went, look, he's coming right into that free hand too. If Shihan, boom. So he always checks over the shoulder to make sure that he sees that hand is down. Now he knows when he's going there, the free hand is contained and blocked. So these are little things that are hard to do on the video, much easier to do in the class because I would see you doing them. Shion Billy or Shion Kathy would see you doing them, and we would critique and correct that. So we can give you only so much information on the video, but hopefully we'll be back to the studio very soon. This technique is one technique that I will not take credit for. A man named Guller from Texas scenariozed this technique for the SWAT team. A bad scenario happened and they wanted to redefine it and make it a better technique. Some people have controversy about holding the weapon here. I'm not going to go into that on this tape, but I will tell you this is a wonderful technique. One of the techniques that I did not create in American Jiu-Jitsu, but will not take credit for, but at the same time, put it within the system because it's a technique. We train a lot of law enforcement. We train a lot of people that hold sidearms, and this is a wonderful technique that could add to your toolbox. So this is what they call a G-wrap. So what's happening here is this weapon now, for the first time, is the possession of the person holding it. So we know the integrity of the weapon. This is when an officer or a person who holds a sidearm is about to draw his weapon and the other person tries to stop that person. We're going to do this in stages, okay? And this technique can be abbreviated, it could be expanded, but we do it in a very almost kata type of a way, a set way to develop a form, and then it can be modified according to the situation. So we're going to do it in a form way so you understand what it is that we're doing. Excuse me. So as he draws the weapon, Kathy goes and grabs for the weapon. He turns the elbow up. Now, just the fact that she grabbed for the weapon gives him the right to, he's in fear for his life. So now he's going to discharge the weapon. Bang, he shoots. Now what happened in this scenario, what this was created for, was the person was able to get control of that weapon. The person also had some bulletproof armor and then came in charging at this person. So what happens here is, because he held the magazine down, only one bullet shot and another bullet wasn't fed. So when he's drawing that weapon, he's locking it down so nobody can take his weapon, but he does realize when that gun goes off, and you will not get hurt. I have shot live ammunition this way. You will not get hurt, boom, the magazine not being able to move back will not now feed another bullet. So you now have one, you do not have one in the chamber. But if he rechambers very quickly and she charges at him, he's dead. Whatever reason, that first shot didn't stop this person, whether they were hopped up on drugs or they had bulletproof armor. Doesn't matter, they're coming back. So what we do here as she comes back is he elbows, chops to the throat, now reloads the weapon, still creating distance. Now, elbow, chop. Now stop right there. Now, okay, so now the gun is reloaded. Now, you don't have to do 2 elbows, strikes, and a chop a second time. You could discharge that weapon, but this is a procedure. So you can abbreviate it or extend it depending on the situations. Today, not only are you responsible for your actions, but remember there's videos all over the place, okay? So now that third time this person comes back, he's gonna take the weapon, place it to the bottom, and he's gonna go for a kill shot, which will go under the chin, into the head, and no bulletproof armor will be able to protect her. This is when you're in fear for your life and somebody's trying to take your weapon, and you have the legitimacy of holding that weapon. So let's look at that one more time, all right? So from here, he goes to draw the weapon, from here, shoots. Now from here, she comes back, elbow, chop. He reloads the weapon. Elbow, chop. From here, she comes back again, puts it on the base of her body. From here, protects himself with the free hand, discharges the weapon, and it's a done scenario. All of these techniques are techniques that we hope you never have to use. But again, like I talked about the mechanic, you don't want to go into that mechanic shop and he doesn't have all the tools that are necessary to be able to preserve your life. We put these again on every day. American Jiu-Jitsu LI Facebook, YouTube. My email is americanjiu-jitsu-li@gmail, so you can email me any questions you might have or wanting to know the Zoom codes. ajjcenters.com will give you all our Zoom dojo meetings. Main thing you got to do is you got to stay home, healthy and safe. The end is near, I hope, in the sense of reopening the dojo very soon. But in the meantime, keep your mind busy, keep your body occupied. Enjoy the nice weather. We'll see you on the next video. Next video is going to be 3rd degree black belt. Have a great day, people. Thank you, Shihan, Billy, and Kathy, for coming down and assisting me with this tape.